Hello, my name is Janet Christensen Obrien. I own Seattle Detective Bureau, and it's a private detective firm. I'm licensed and I'm bonded. And I want to talk today about these cases that there have been sealed documents in the file. One of the cases is Dorothy Grega. One of the cases is Nicole Walters, is the attorney who represented people in that case. One of the cases is Arthur Hayes' case, and Nicole Walters represented one of the people in that case. In the cases, these attorneys are being given notice. Julie Schisel, who represents Dan Smirkin in the Robert Hamlin case. Nicole Walters was the guardian of the estate of Arthur Hayes. Nicole Walters was involved in the Dorothy Grega case. He represented Dorothy Grega, and Gregory Miller represented Dorothy Grega on the appeal. When Gregory Miller represented Dorothy Grega on the appeal, he never talked to her in her life, and he represented her in the appeal, which he's never talked to her, period, and she died. So how can Gregory Miller represent somebody when they've never talked to them? One of the rules of canon is you've got to communicate with your client, not the client's daughter. And Nicole Walters sealed documents in these cases, and now all of these attorneys are be given notice that sealing these files, sealing it without notice to different parties, is improper. And King County, here's a letter from King County, and it is notifying these attorneys, all of these lawyers. Julie Schisel is one of them. Nicole Walters is another one of them, that the cases are going to be investigated and maybe unsealed. I think it protects the public when documents are unsealed, because it shows whistleblowers like me who have complaints about the attorney's actions in those cases. An example is, in the Dorothy Grega case, Sally Lanham and Nicole Walters, the property of Dorothy Grega was sold for $1.3 million to a friend of the attorney's, and it wasn't itemized in the guardianship, and it wasn't itemized in the probate. And Donna Mae Curley, who was Dorothy Grega's daughter, she said in an affidavit to the court that she only received $100,000 in the case as a relative of Dorothy Grega. She only received $100,000. Well, what happened to the $1.3 million for the sale of the property? And what happened to the log cabin house, office house in Redmond? What happened to all the other properties that was put in a Grega charitable trust? And when BDO filed a tax return for that entity, they used the EIN number for a living trust that was established after Stephen Grega died. So what happens to these assets when they are not properly identified? And that's the reason why sealing these files is so significant, because it hides the truth from the public. It is very significant to have these cases unsealed so that the public and people who are investigating, maybe like the IRS or maybe like anybody, can see what happened to these assets. In this case, these attorneys are being put on notice that sealing of documents was not done properly under the GR 22 rule. King County Department of Judicial Administration sent these people a letter. Lauri Nelson is the party who sent this letter out to these people, identifying that these cases were being looked into because they were not properly sealed. These documents, it says GR 22 allows the use of cover heads for sealing documents of family law and guardianship cases brought under the following statutes: Chapter 11.88, Chapter 11.92, Chapter 2609, Chapter 2610, Chapter 2612, Chapter 2618, and so forth. CR 22, and therefore the use of cover sheets for the purpose of sealing documents is not authorized, and no other authority in these case files for sealing these documents. So what it's saying is my declarations to the court saying that the attorneys are misrepresenting their capacity and they are not accounting for the funds that are properly before the court and they are hiding assets. My documents that were sealed, my declaration that was sealed, all the documents that were sealed are improperly sealed, and the court should allow those documents to be unsealed so that the public is protected and whistleblowers are protected. Now, I am very grateful that this woman, and her name is Lauri Nelson, Adult Probate Supervisor, Adult Probate Supervisor, is looking into this. And they are auditing the probates. She's an audit probate supervisor, and she put a CC in the court files so that judges, when they look at these cases, they will know that there is something wrong with the sealing of these documents, and that these documents are only sealed to protect the attorneys and not the ward and not the public. I am very, very grateful that in these cases are being looked into, because cases like this should not be sealed, because these financial documents and these declarations from individuals are there to protect the public. This case in particular was Dear Guardianship Services of Seattle. This letter is to inform you that during the course of the review of the court's file, we found that one or more documents were filed and sealed in the advanced cases with a CR-22 without proper authorization. They are telling these individuals, Guardianship Services of Seattle, they are saying to these attorneys, Nicole Walters, that documents were sealed without proper authority. This is very, very significant, because there has been a cover-up of rights by the sealing of documents without due process of law. I hope that people look into the Dorothy Grega case, and I hope that people look into the Arthur Hayes case, because I think it's very, very significant that Nicole Longyear was the guardian of the estate of Arthur Hayes, and he also was a member of the LLC and the manager of the LLC. And in the Dorothy Grega case, Nicole Longyear and Gregory Miller and Sally Lanham filed documents without proper due process and notice to individuals. In the Dorothy Grega case, I was insulted in court by Sally Lanham, and the GAL saw that, and nobody did anything. Sally Lanham accessed my bank deposit slips and my cash-out tickets without a court order. Gregory Miller represented Dorothy Grega in the Court of Appeals without ever talking to her. Nicole Longyear sent Dorothy Grega invoices to Sally Lanham instead of to Dorothy Grega, which is improper. Dorothy Grega was Nicole Longyear's client, not Donna Mae Curley. Donna Mae Curley was on an opposing side. And all of these things were sealed in the files to cover up the truth. And I'm very, very glad that King County is looking into the fact that these attorneys have been improperly sealing documents to hide records, and they've been sealing documents under GR-22 cover sheet without proper authorization. So thank you for watching Public Interest Issues, and I hope that people look into this. Some of the case numbers is King County case number 07240755593, King County case number. Another case number is 072 077 075593. So this is the same case that these attorneys they're looking into this because it was improperly sealed. But all of these seem to have the same case number on them. But I have personal knowledge that Dorothy Grega's case and Arthur Hayes' case were also, documents were sealed. So we need to look into this as a public interest issue. Thanks for watching Public Interest Issues TV on Seattle Community Media. Thank you.